All right, welcome to another Ember Weekend. I'm Jonathan Jackson.
And I'm Chase McCarthy.
And we are Ember Weekend, and we're going to talk about some cool Ember stuff that is happening. We did an interview last week with Trent, which was really fun and awesome. And during the interim period, we have accumulated a little bit of a backlog of things that we want to talk about. So I think we should probably just dive in with this week's episode.
All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is RFC 213, and it's a custom component API. It has to do with low-level components. It seems to be geared toward making some currently internal component APIs public so that some interesting things can be done in add-ons, such as iterating on angle bracket components, or they mentioned that Liquidfire's animation helpers could make use of these to have some performance benefits. So this seems like something that is geared toward like very intense like animation or performance sensitive component work that is going to be done in add-ons, not necessarily something you'll be using in your everyday code, but it's interesting and you should probably take a look at it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you mentioned, like this is a really detailed RFC. It's always really good to like have an awareness of this, even if you're not necessarily going to be using it right away, because when you do need this sort of thing, it's really important that you know that they exist and like where you can find information about them. I think this is going to be really interesting for some of the more core add-ons. So I imagine Liquidfire was mentioned, and I think that's going to be the one that will probably utilize this like extensively, like kind of right out of the gate. And I don't know, it feels like they're trying to take some strides to make the ability to like do some really cool things with components. So so definitely check this RFC out. There's a lot of really good information there, and always welcome to get a few comments in there and some feedback. Michelle Santasirio from Code All Day released a blog post this past week, I think, outlining kind of how Ember Observer does code searching. And I know this was a thing that we talked about back in episode 88, and we were kind of like wondering about whether or not it uses the GitHub search API, which it does not. And it's a really cool outline of what goes on in the Ember Observer code search, and it's actually really cool. So I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. The first thing that they do is they index they have a cron job that actually runs and pulls all new add-ons, downloads that, and indexes them with Google. What is it?
Google Code Search.
Google Code Search, right? Yeah. So they use Google Code Search to basically like get these indexes, and then they use another tool provided by Google that allows them to search it as well. So ostensibly they have like a little catalog of indexed add-ons that they're able to iterate over. And when you ask for, or an index, and when you ask for something, it will use this search tool to figure it out. And the reason that's kind of neat is that it's ostensibly a better way to search across add-ons than GitHub is, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm amazed at like the idea that if you think about how many Ember add-ons there are, and that means that like whenever they change, right? About like they said, it's once a day. So if you make a change minimum in a day, that those changes will be reflected in their index. But every add-on gets looked at for changes, and then if they did change, it pulls them down, scans through it, re-indexes, and I'm guessing this is all running on some server that is the API they're hitting to get these results. But that's happening just constantly. They're pulling these. That's super impressive.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I wonder how long that cron job takes. I bet it takes quite a while.
Well, to do the first indexing maybe, but like I think there's a lot of add-ons that
no change. Yeah,
they have no changes. But actually, that'd be interesting. You could build metrics of like how often add-ons do change. Like what percentage of add-ons actually change per day.
Right.
That would be an interesting metric to look at. And
there's a lot of interesting meta information that you could pull out of the indexing stuff. But I mean, honestly, like that's like ancillary to its primary purpose, which is like an awesome code search. And the code search is really good. So, so this was a really cool blog post. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's like it's not too deep. It doesn't go too technical, which I think is really great because this is something that. You can easily start talking about different searching algorithms and stuff, and it would be unpleasant. But instead, it's this really good high-level view of like what's going on, and I think that it's really, really cool stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Like, definitely check this out.
Yeah. Actually, you say it doesn't go too deep, but I think this is like literally all the code involved. Like,
Oh, you think so?
well, other than the fact that
Oh, because yeah,
yeah, I mean, well, once you actually have all the add-ons in a directory, just running index over it, and then running search for a term, relatively easy. But then there's this whole infrastructure around it, like the thing that looks at every add-on, pulls them down if they haven't,
right.
if they have changed, and then the thing there's an API level on top of this that is like calling through to C search. That's also complicated. But as far as the indexing goes, that's actually really simple, surprisingly simple. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
it's great.
I'm thinking of like Elasticsearch is crazy complicated to search a database, but searching files looks relatively easy. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Definitely interested in looking at all the different things you can do with the code search tool. I actually think I'll reach for it at some point and be like, hey, I remember this thing. I'm going to try it. But yeah, definitely check this blog post out. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, like, use Ember Observer because it's doing some really cool stuff. So just a couple days ago, Matt Beal, Mixonic on Twitter and in GitHub and all the places, he released a Quest issue that is good for new contributors. And it's it reminds me a lot of the Godfrey Chan's Quest issue on the lead up before last EmberCuff, I want to say, where there's this really detailed outline of like actionable steps that you can take to contribute. So if you're interested in contributing, this is a really good place. If you're interested in contributing, this is a really great place to start. And the idea here is that right now the resolver, the default Ember resolver, also allows like global lookup. So and this is because of Semver and some other things. And one of the things that's kind of a blocking area in this migration away from the global resolver is that the tests all use globals, and like specifically, they often use like Ember dot all caps templates, or they'll use like app dot foo controller, which is kind of an older style. And I think the main thrust behind this, the reasoning is that they want to be able to do like tree shaking and some other things that the global resolver kind of like hampers or just outright prevents. And this is like kind of a first step. But once again, the issue is really well laid out and it helps you to understand what's actually going on. And there's actionable steps. So it's perfect for like if you want to get your first contribution into Ember. So yeah, this is a great place to start.
Yeah, definitely. And if you have time to do this, I mean, each one of these issues is relatively short. I mean, or the issue itself is large, but each one of the tasks in this they're relatively short. You could probably knock them out in a couple hours if you have any experience in Ember at all. But if you're new, definitely reach out to somebody. The reason why these kinds of tasks get put together, any one of them individually could be handled by the people that are kind of familiar with the code base pretty quickly. But it's not that they're garbage work and they just don't want to do them. It's actually partially for like growing the community of people who can contribute. So it's not like, don't feel bad if you don't know how to solve it. Like, reach out to somebody. The whole point of it is to get other people involved in maintaining the code and get the community kind of behind all of the changes. So so grab one of these. If you're at the contributor workshop, I imagine some of these will be tackled. So
yeah, definitely.
Maybe look at them, get familiar with them before you go to the workshop, and know which one you want. Maybe tag it as yours and get ready to work on it as soon as you get there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool stuff here. So I think this is a great little issue to look at. And once again, I mean, if you're like interested in contributing, this is like a really great way to kind of intro in and get to writing some code. I think other avenues are obviously like documentation and some other things like that are really good ways to get familiar with how to do this. But if you actually want to start writing some code and actually like making some relatively sweeping changes to like Ember's test suite, this is a great place to start. So check it out. It's issue number 15058. Wow, that was a weird way to say that number. 15058. And I think it's actually tagged as an epic, and it's about decoupling Ember tests from the globals resolver. So yeah, check it out. I think it's going to be really good stuff. And yeah, I'm excited. And maybe I'll see you at the contributor workshop because I'll be there.
I just realized that by mentioning the contributor workshop means we have to get the episode out either today or like early tomorrow, right? Because in order for somebody to listen to it, it happens on Monday.
Oh,
so it's like we just like put like some time pressure.
All right, so that's it for this Ember weekend. We have a lot more things to talk about, but we are going to be traveling out to EmberConf starting. I'm going out tomorrow. Are you heading out tomorrow or Monday?
Oh yeah, like early tomorrow, like 7 a.m.
Oof, man, brutal. Oh yeah, but you're in Texas, so it's not nearly as daunting of a flight as
Right. Yeah, I'm like halfway there
Florida.
already.
So yeah, EmberConf. I'm really excited about EmberConf. So yeah, we'll see you there. I think we kind of made some jokes about how we mentioned the contributor workshop, and that means that this episode has to get released soon because the contributor workshop is Monday. So if you are hearing this, and it hasn't already occurred, you should check it out.
Then I'll also mention this then, if we're going to put this out, pack rain gear because it's going to be raining the whole time.
I don't own any rain gear.
If this doesn't get launched Sunday, people are going to be listening to it like Monday or Tuesday, like, crap, I wish they would have released this on Sunday when I could have packed rain gear.
Totally. All right, so that's it for this Ember weekend. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to follow along with us in the future, you can do so at Ember Weekend, all one word, on Twitter. We also have an RSS feed at emberweekend.com/feed.xml. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm Jonathan Jackson.
And I'm Chase McCarthy, and we'll see you at EmberConf.